Hey guys, wow, it's like really dark. Why can't you guys see me? Hold on. Let me see if I can go downstairs. All right. Sorry, there's a loud noise in the background. Ugh, okay, I'm just gonna sit on my landing, I guess. Oh boy. All right. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys about anxiety. I suffer a lot from anxiety. And along with a lot of other things, panic disorder. I also suffer with self-sabotage and negative thoughts. I grew up with an anxiety disorder, although I didn't realize that's what it was, but I wouldn't go to school. I refused to go, and my mom and dad also have really severe mental illnesses. And she didn't make me go to school. I would constantly tell her, oh, the bus didn't come, or whatever, da-da-da. And I was probably in about 3rd grade. Or no, wait, that was 1st grade. And so in 1st grade, I was basically terrified to go to school. It didn't help that I went to 6 different elementary schools. So it was hard for me to bond with kids, and I didn't really know who I was because my parents were too busy trying to figure themselves out in their life. And I'm 31 now, and I'm still suffering from anxiety. And lately it's turned more into like a panic disorder. I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, just like I jump out of bed and I'm like fearful. I'll just be thinking about things, maybe negative things, self-consciously, like in the back of my mind. I won't realize it, and then I just wake up all of a sudden and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm sweating and I'm like panting or whatever. Sometimes my throat closes up and I can't breathe, and I'm like laying down, and then I jump up and I'm like I'm gasping for air. So I know what anxiety is like. I've suffered with it for my whole life. And the other thing I suffer with is codependency, because I've never really had a secure attachment with my parents. And being in the psychology program that I'm working on now has taught me a lot about attachment disorders, which I believe I have as well. Because my mother is severely delusional, she might even be schizophrenic to some extent. She wasn't really able to bond with me like maternally. So I struggle a lot with codependency and wanting to be in a relationship, but like lately I've come to realize, and I know I've heard this several times, but for some reason it just hasn't really clicked, that I have to learn how to love myself. And I mean, it sounds easy, but it's really not. It's a lot harder than it sounds. And I'm a mom, and I currently am single. And I mean, I have good days and bad days. Some days I feel okay, and other days I feel depressed or lonely. But I've been really trying to meditate and ground myself in things that I feel like are going to uplift me without an outside source supporting it. Because I notice I have a tendency to easily fall into security from other people, but then once that goes away, it's like I've lost all my identity. It's like just who I am as a person is gone, and I'm left in this loneliness, and I look for it in the wrong ways. Like sometimes I'll go out, I'll feel like, oh, I can go out, I'm fine, I'll just have a drink or two, it'll be okay. Yeah, no, it doesn't end up being okay, because if I'm going out for the wrong reasons, I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I see all these girls, all these people are with people, they have their partners with them, like why can't I have that? What's wrong with me? And I start to get negative thoughts, and then I'll get depressed, and I'll be looking for somebody basically just out of desperation. And every time I do that, I always feel bad in the end because I'm still left alone. And then I just feel like, why am I doing this stuff, which I know ends bad? I know it doesn't end well. So basically, I'm here to say for people who suffer with anxiety that there is relief, but it's got to come from within. It can't come from other people. Even though we want it to and we feel like we're okay, once we get into relationships, if we really don't love ourselves and accept ourselves for all of our flaws, not when we're perfect, not just when I graduate, not when I get that job, not when, I look the prettiest or whatever, I just think we have all these ideas of who we need to be. And really, we just need to accept ourselves and love ourselves, because how can somebody else love us and respect us if we don't love and respect ourselves? I've learned that if I don't work on me, I can't really love somebody else. And I'm not saying my relationships are terrible. I mean, I had a 5.5-year long relationship on and off, and that person had things to work on as well. But I feel like I want to give myself the ultimate gift, which is learning how to love myself, and then being able to come into somebody else's life and just enrich it. And if they don't like me for whatever reason, that's no reflection on me. But I feel like with the mind state that I'm at, I wouldn't be able to do that. If I was to get into a relationship and they were saying things about me, maybe if they weren't even true, I don't even know, you're not a good mom or something, I don't know, just anything, then I would let it bother me. I would really let it eat at me. I would go to bed and I would dwell on it, and I would probably wake up with anxiety because of it. And I wake up with anxiety a lot. And I find that being productive helps, going to school helps, writing helps, meditation helps, prayer helps. But I have that tendency to keep looking for that security to come from somebody else. And I've realized that it's not possible. My security cannot come from another person. It's just not possible. So, I guess with that being said, I want to know your guys' thoughts or comments about anxiety, or what you guys maybe suffer with, or if you can relate to any of the stuff I'm saying, and maybe if you want me to elaborate a little bit more about some of my experiences in school. I just couldn't, I hated going to school. I thought I wasn't going to be able to work because of it. I didn't get my first real job until I was 21 because I was so afraid I was going to mess up and just stuff like that. The list just goes on and on. Anxiety disorder is a spectrum. There is a lower level and then there's a higher level, which I feel like goes into more of a panic disorder than an anxiety disorder at that point, which I suffer from both. There's times I can wake up in the morning and I'm literally shaking and I don't want to get out of bed. And sorry about this. It keeps coming down and I'm not really doing the greatest today. So sorry if I look like a wreck, but basically I just want to be able to help other people who suffer from what I suffer with, because I know how it feels to feel alone, and it doesn't feel good. It feels bad. But I'm here to tell you guys that you're not alone. You're really not alone. In fact, I think that most people can say that they probably do suffer from some type of mental illness, whether it be depression, anxiety, whatever. I suffer from depression too at times. I can cry you know, for 3 or 4 times a day on a bad day, you know, and I know there's different levels of that too. But there is hope and there is help. And I just feel like people need to know that there's hope and help. Because it's not something you're going to learn in school, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, school doesn't focus on those things, which I feel like they should, because mental illnesses are a generational disorder. So if your mom or dad have a mental illness and they couldn't care for you the way that they should have been able to, chances are you're going to have something. And you're going to be suffering with that unless later on in life you go to a therapist or you get help for it. And it can be a hard struggle trying to change those things as an adult. So, I mean, it's not hopeless. It just takes work. You have to retrain your brain to love yourself, to think positive about yourself, to know that there's nobody else who can love you better than you. And that's the truth. There really isn't. So, I mean, I hope that you guys could get something out of this video. If you like it, you know, hit like, subscribe, whatever. I mean, and just let me know your guys' thoughts. And I'll try to make some more videos if you guys like it. Thank you. Have a blessed day.